Yeah, I've watched Old Yeller before.
Oh, this is like recording. We don't have to clap. Yeah.
Yeah, no claps.
So this is the podcast. I feel like when's the last time we record? We're recording in person. Do we?
I mean, I guess we.
I feel like we need to do like a little.
Nah, yeah, you're
I
right.
feel like we went. That's too hot. That's
Too hot, too
There's
fast.
a hot open.
It's too hot to handle.
Hello. That was really quiet. Oh,
That is
all
far
okay.
too. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I was bringing it down. Okay.
Let's bring it down.
Yeah, let's
Make it a little more serious.
Hello. This is Off the Air episode
175.
Wow, you knew that? Is that right?
I just titled it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm sitting in the room.
I also spelled my name wrong, but you know, it is what it is.
Now. We're sitting in the same room, which is not new, but for the first time in a while.
For a while. Yeah.
No, you're probably wondering what I've had in my pocket for the last 20 minutes I've been at your house.
I'm very curious.
I have two things in my hoodie pocket for us to review. And it's this. It's the
Mountain Dew gingerbread snap.
Gingerbread Mountain Dew. I saw it at the gas station when I was on my way here, and I was like, this looks like it might be really bad.
This sounds awful, but I'm really excited. You gonna crack this open?
Think we can sync it? That's pretty close. Yeah, this is...
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it smells really bad. So...
Oh, that's rank.
It smells like bubble gum?
It smells like ginger.
What is bubble gum?
Kind of bubble gum.
What is the taste of bubble gum? Why is it like a thing that everyone's like, yeah, you know, like the smell and taste of bubble gum? Like, what's that flavor?
Because I know the taste.
Yeah, but what's the flavor? What's it
yeah.
supposed to be? Because it's not just like gum or whatever. It's
definitely not ginger.
There's a flavor added to it. Maybe it's like a clove. Maybe going on. I don't. Maybe I'm lying. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Let's find out. That's not good.
I like it. I think it's good. Wait, actually, maybe I do like this.
That's really sweet.
It's definitely too sweet, but yeah, I got nothing. I kind of like it though. I feel like I could drink this.
It tastes like someone spilled ginger ale. No, a ginger beer. Someone spilled a ginger beer into like a 2 liter of Mountain Dew and then divvied it up.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm down with that idea more than I thought I would be. I thought I would be very opposed to this. I like it though. I don't think I'll buy it again. I think if you like threw some made this into a cocktail, there's some potential.
No, I would agree. I think if you mix this with like gin, maybe? I think gin could be fun with it.
You could make a really weird Moscow Mule with this.
A party mule.
This is like you go to a bar and they're like, you want to not your mom's Moscow Mule? And then you're like, yeah, and they're like, here you go. It's Mountain Dew gingerbread snapped and all new. Some kind of vodka they're promoting for like a club guy, you know, like
yeah,
one of those club vodkas.
It's just 3 olives, but like
but it's 3 olives. It's bottled at the same factory and everything, but they put a different name on the bottle because it got bought by somebody.
Yeah. You know, that reminds me. Have you seen that New Amsterdam signed a deal with Barstool Sports?
That sucks.
Yeah, dude. They have like a special flavor and all kinds of stuff like that. Sucks ass. Makes me disappointed.
Oh, it's the Pink Whitney vodka, correct?
Yeah.
It looks fun, and apparently it gets you white girl wasted. Yeah, what is the bubblegum flavor? Strawberry, banana, and cherry? I don't believe that.
I can't believe that either.
Is it like a combination of those 3?
I gotta know.
Because if I'm saying like double bubble, like it's got a flavor.
It says sometimes even orange, lemon, and cinnamon, and I'm looking at this list and it's just like these are just gum flavors.
These are just flavors that you can get of gum.
Yeah,
life's crazy.
This is the same thing again. No,
what's Iron Brew? Does this taste like Iron Brew? You ever had Iron Brew before?
Iron Brew?
Am I saying that right? It's like Iron Brew.
I have no idea.
It's like a Scottish thing. IRNBRU. I got it at Wegmans once. I think it tastes like bubblegum, kinda. It's like it's like orange.
Oh, this stuff.
Yeah, it's like orange.
I mean, I say this stuff as if I've had it before.
It's a Scottish classic. It's a certified hood classic, but only in Scotland.
Whoa, controversy?
Whoa,
it has a controversy tab on
don't
Wikipedia?
Do this. Don't tell me what the controversy of Iron Brew is.
Let's see. 1950. Okay. Let's see.
Oh, they had a transphobic ad?
A transphobic ad. Oh no. Yikes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a transphobic ad made in the 1950s.
No, it evokes
Oh, no.
1950s.
So
it
it
was
wasn't
made
made
in 2000.
Ah.
Which, not to excuse it, timeline-wise, it does at least make sense, right? At
Kinda
least
crazy
they're
to
not
think.
making a transphobic ad in 2020.
I watched
Like, it's better than the BBC is doing.
Talladega Nights a
Mhm.
couple weeks ago. Don't ask me why. It wasn't a smart choice, but I watched it. And like the whole movie, the whole time they're like, "This guy's gay." Isn't
But-
that funny? Isn't it funny that people are gay? And I was like,
I'm going to pull
This-
back to that real quick. The smell you get off this Mountain Dew as you go to sip it does make it worse, in my opinion, when you
Okay, I'm
like
gonna
sip
do
and
a
drink.
little nose plug, or I'm gonna do a no inhale through my nose challenge. Ever again. This is the end. That's the last time I breathe through my nose. I think it's no good. I would drink.
There's just a
I'm going to drink
weird-
more of this. I like it.
It's a weird scent that changes the flavor.
There was also like
But-
12 rows of it at the gas station.
That makes a lot of sense.
Like there was so much. They were like, this is gonna be the next big thing. They thought this was
They're
gonna be the
probably ne-
Iron Brew.
Honestly,
of
they're
America.
never going to buy it again.
They thought this was gonna be the certified hood classic.
Certified. But anyway, gay people, it's funny that they exist.
Yeah,
That's not my opinion, of course. I'm quoting Talladega Nights when I say that.
Unfortunately the opinion of like so many early 2000s comedies. The joke is just like, this guy is gay.
Yeah.
They're like, and isn't
This
that
girl
a good
sleeps
joke?
around. This guy is gay.
And like people will be like, you can't make that kind of joke anymore.
It's
Like,
like
yeah, it's not
honestly
that funny.
good.
Yeah,
They're not good jokes.
uninspired. It's like,
I'm
what's
trying to
what's
remember
the joke?
who I was talking to about this, but it's just like all early 2000s comedy that was like big was just really mean-spirited.
Oh, so always punching down mean-spirited comedy.
Yeah. And like honestly, like that's the big thing, right? Like I'm not going to say it's not hard to write a better thing than that, but like it's not that hard to write something that isn't just mean-spirited punching down.
Yeah, you can make plenty of jokes without punching down.
Mhm.
I've never done it, but
No, I mean like we always have the Amish. All else fails.
yeah, you can. It's never gonna blow up in your face. Because what are they gonna do? Tweet about it? Even if they see it, even if like Mother Mary from Breaking Amish sees it, she's not gonna do anything. She's gonna be like, wow, that was mean.
Send her carriage hit squad after
Yeah,
me?
and tell her
Come
like
on.
12 friends. Like what she's not gonna blog about it. So I'm not worried. Now, if you make fun of Joe Rogan, he's gonna probably blog. I feel like I as much as I hate Joe Rogan, I feel like it would be really funny if he had like an Amish guest on.
I think that would be actually
Because
kinda
he would be
cool.
like, "You guys churn your own butter? You look this up. Look this up. Butter churn.
Jamie, pull up a video of the butter. So like this is what you guys do all day.
You
You're
guys-
like you're churning butter and all that. Well, yeah, we don't always just do that.
We got a lot of things we do, but
So like barn raising, you do a lot of barn raising. Like I hear that's a thing that the Amish do a lot. Is a barn raising a normal thing?
Jamie, look this up. Barn raising video.
Barn raising. Look at this. All these Amish guys, they picked that whole barn up. And that's not what you mean by barn raising, right? But man, look at them. Raise that right off the ground.
I would hate it so much.
Let me tell you,
there's so much potential for
Ezekiel,
the
have you
bit,
ever
though.
tried raw elk meat?
There's so much potential. You guys can meat.
Canned meat. Jamie, bring
Jamie,
this
look this
up.
up. I just feel like there would be so many moments where he would just be flabbergasted by the fact that like Amish people just do things.
While simultaneously, I think their overlap would be far higher than we expect it to be, right?
Was there a raw elk meat period in Joe Rogan? Or was that a
There's an
joke?
elk meat period for sure.
Okay,
I know-
because I was like, you really shouldn't eat raw game meat.
No.
It's like really bad for you.
No, but I know he was very into elk meat in general for a long time because health benefits.
Elk meat is good for you and it's very tasty.
Yeah, it is.
I made venison. Was I here talking about the venison dumplings I made?
No,
Was
you
that,
didn't.
That wasn't
mention
within
it
the
yet.
timeline. I made some venison dumplings. That was really good.
Yeah, that sounds
Oh,
fantastic.
I also made
honestly.
venison bacon and venison salami.
Venison salami sounds just really nice.
It's good. I actually am I'm very big fan of it. The venison bacon I also really enjoy because it's like a turkey bacon almost.
Ooh, okay.
You know what else I really enjoy? Dune.
Dune.
That's right. I finally
Jamie, bring Dune up on the TV.
Tim Dune. Jamie, show me Tim Dune. You think Timothy Chalamet would come on our podcast? I mean, almost certainly not, right?
I mean, I would say certainly not, but then like there's this moment where like
What if he just had like nothing else going on and we kind of like
what if
I feel like you
we
can
would have to
catch
go to him, but
Yeah.
I think if we went to him, I think we could make it happen.
I feel like you can catch pretty much anybody at like just the right time.
Yeah, right?
Like I feel like it's kind of like the Scientologist approach, where like if you get them when the getting's good, you can get people to join your weird religion.
I've
And
honestly there's a lot of guys who I like watch on YouTube that I think to myself, could I get them on the podcast? And like Northern Lion, I don't think we could get him on the
oh,
podcast.
absolutely not. And
But
that's
you know
one of the
who we
best things
could
about
get?
him.
Dan
Giesling.
Giesling.
I would
Yes!
I would love if we had Dan Giesling on the podcast, I think I would lose my mind, but I also don't think he would want I don't think it would be because Dan Giesling's public appearances and the way he like handles himself with like any kind of press is so different than like his YouTube videos.
Yeah,
Like
I
he's
believe
not
that.
gonna be like you peace and like talking about like a Marty's and like he's not gonna be talking about like Sir.
Or he's gonna be too obnoxiously professional about it.
Yeah, I mean like he literally like had a contract with E! News for the birth of his child to be the only one to publish it initially
That's crazy.
because like yeah he
I do
he got
sometimes
his money
forget that
up,
he's a
not his
reality
funny up.
TV winner.
Yeah, he
And
was
that
like
he
big,
knows about these
he's
things.
like one of the Big Brother like superstars. He's like a Big Brother like powerhouse.
And people are like really mad at him about it still, aren't they?
Mm, people are mad for him about it. In season 10 when he won, people were like, "Man, that was like a crazy season." He like played the game, but he like, he played the game right and he won. People liked him a lot. Season 14 when he came back, he was also beloved because it was a twist and turn. It was a crazy season. You gotta watch the supercut sometime. It's so good.
What is Big Brother? I hear him talk about it all the time.
Big Brother is Survivor if you're in a single house the whole time.
Oh.
They basically put like I don't know how many, like 18 people in a mansion, and then it's just Survivor, but in a mansion. So like instead of
Okay.
being on an island, instead of having like challenges and like having to like survive and have campfires, it's more like luxurious, but it's more like social because it's like direct. Like you're in the
Oh,
same
so
house.
you don't get to lift
Like,
more
yeah.
bags of sand to win. You actually have to
Yeah,
talk
and
your way
there are
around.
challenges. Like
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are challenges that you can win to like get safety and stuff. But yeah, there's a lot of like a lot more like alliances, and there's no teams or anything. So it's all like it's all
it's a
player
free-for-all.
made. It's a free for all
Oh.
that players make their own like alliances. It's really cool to watch.
Nice.
And when he didn't win in season 14, he came in second, and it was like a huge upset because the guy who won because everybody was mad that Dan played them. So like he didn't win because he was too good. Not exactly that, but like
But that's like kind of
he basically he schemed so hard and played the game so well that people like out of spite people didn't vote for him
that's pretty great.
because like you
honestly.
get the winner gets voted for by the other housemates. At the very end, all the housemates vote on who should win out of the last two. So there's like an element of like you can't screw everyone over because if you screw everyone over and get to the final two, they're not going to vote for you.
Right, and everyone decided that that's how they felt about the whole thing.
Yeah, they were kind of mad that he played him. Classic though, because the guy he was in the final two with in season 14's name was Ian, and he was like real chill. And he was just like he didn't play the game as well, but because he didn't like scheme people or like do too much dirty stuff, he ended up winning.
Wild. You think Tim Dune could win Big Brother?
I think Tim Dune would not win Big Brother.
You know,
He's a threat.
you know what? That's fair. I feel like a lot of people don't like Tim Dune.
Well, I
in
mean,
Dune.
if you were like going to the Big Brother house and they were like, here's like 17 people and Timothy Chalamet.
No, he'd be gone
He'd
right
be gone
away.
because they'd be like,
I'd
"Ooh."
feel threatened, honestly.
Yeah, because this guy's like mega famous.
Yeah.
We gotta talk about Dune though. I haven't talked about Dune yet.
No, let's hear about Dune.
It's been like 3 weeks since I watched it because if you remember, if you think back in your podcast mental palace, mind palace, you'll remember that I was like, yeah, it goes off HBO Max in like 2 days, but I'm not gonna watch it, and then I did.
Yeah, that very evening.
That
in
very
fact.
evening, I messaged the podcast Discord, and I was like, guess who watched Dune?
Jamie,
Idiots."
roll it back. What did Jackson say that? Yeah.
That was it. They just played, but only for us. We have headphones in.
Exactly.
So like I watched Dune and I really enjoyed it. I said that briefly. I said that briefly 2 weeks ago now that I enjoyed it. But man, I feel like I've had like a Dune renaissance in my own life. But it's like more of a sci-fi renaissance that's been brought about by Dune.
Okay.
Like I feel like I always thought I didn't really like sci-fi, but it turns out I just really hate Star Wars. And as soon as I realized there was more sci-fi to it, I was like, man, this whole Dune shtick is actually super inspired, or Warhammer is super inspired by Dune.
Oh yeah.
And as soon as I realized that, I was like, man, this shit's crazy cool.
Because you're a fan of the Warhammer lore,
I'm a
right?
Warhammer fan.
Mhm.
I've liked Warhammer for a while, but I've just always hated the fact that like Warhammer people are like super shitty, like
Oh,
pretty much
yeah.
always racist.
Oh, yeah.
For whatever
It's
reason,
the
they'll be
people that
like,
don't get that the Imperium of Man are bad people, and they're
yeah,
like, "Actually, it's very cool to be a bigot."
yeah. It's kind of insane that like there's so many people that are like that. Not all of them, but
I mean, the fact that they've had to put out statements about, "Hey, please don't act like our characters," it's a little bit of a
and,
red
I mean,
flag.
and it comes from the UK, and like,
Oh,
man,
yeah. Okay,
there's
that's fair, that's fair.
something. There is almost nothing more vitriolic than a racist British person.
Mhm.
They are so bad. Why are they so bad? Like what about like yeah, no, racist British people are just the worst. And there's a lot of them that are into Warhammer, so they kind of like trickle their way into all sorts of discussion. Even if people are being completely normal, you get like one guy who shows up and he's like, "Yeah, I think we should kill all the Xenos, right? Haha, maybe like in real life we should kill all that." And you're like, "Oh." Yeah,
Yikes.
it happens far too often. I used to have a coworker that was like, "I'm really into Warhammer." I was like, "That's cool. I like it too." And then we like talked about it for a little while, and then one day he was like, "Yeah, we hate people of color, right?" And I was like, "No, no. Why would you say? Why would you think that? Why would you think that? Why would you extrapolate that from the fact that I don't like alien bugs? That has nothing to do with human
Mhm.
people of color. And the fact that you think it does, and the fact that you think it's allegorical for that, is very alarming."
Especially with the, yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
all think this, right?
Like the
Like, we've
Tyranid swarm. I'm like, no, the Tyranid swarm. If you hear about Tyranids and you're like, yeah, that's definitely an allegory for, whatever, marginalized group that you're gonna like project onto that, you're insane.
yeah.
It's just like a super scary type of alien based like bugs that take over the genetic code of things and like spread and multiply. And if you immediately infer your white nationalism onto that, that's very sad
Yeah.
because it's just a sci-fi trope of like people getting like taken over by an alien that like fuses and becomes the ultimate predator. It's just part of like it's just a sci-fi thing.
Mhm.
It doesn't have anything to do with white nationalism. Stop being weird.
Man, there was this kid at the barbershop who was really into Warhammer, and he every week, or not every week, but like every like 3 or 4 weeks, he would come in and he would show me like updated pictures of his Space Marine minis. And the closer he felt we got, the more red flag statements he started to make, and I'm like, "Oh, yikes. Why can't I have one nice thing in this godforsaken town?"
Yeah, it's so sad because like it can be so cool and so fun and such a neat outlet for like creativity and
Right.
just like there's so many different like facets of it you can like
It's like
fixate yourself
D&D,
onto. Yeah.
it's just got a little more structure for you to build into.
Yeah, especially if you're doing like the tabletop, it's so intensive. But like,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
also so much personality that you can put into your like armies. It's just sad. But Dune is really cool, and I think that Dune is like very like ahead of its time in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
The more Dune I think about and like get into, like I've started getting into the deep lore. I'm
Uh-oh.
no longer at the Timmy Chalmers big worm
Mhm.
moment of the Dune fan mind space. I am now in like the oh yes, God Emperor Leto left behind on Arrakis many journals to be discovered by a later civilization. Um, where it's just like he became a worm, maybe a little, but like not him. Maybe it's deep. Um,
It is deep,
there's
yeah.
just a lot of, like, sci-fi jargon and nonsense that I just love, like, the crazy, like, empires and imperiums that exist and, like, the way that they portray human conflict. I mean,
Mhm.
Dune was written as a bit of a Cold War allegory because any text written in that time period was just a Cold War allegory. Believe it or not, pretty much anything written from the year, like, 19 what, like, 50
Mhm.
53-ish, maybe like 1950
Give
Korean
us
War
3
era.
years after World War II ended roundabouts.
Yeah, as soon as I would say like the Korean post Korean War
Mhm.
is really when it kind of like hit big, where like the Cold War was kind of like you know in its big heat. But pretty much anything published between that time and like maybe still today is a Cold War allegory. Whether or not especially if like the authors put any like intent behind it, like um
Instead of it just being like a fluff novel thing.
yeah, and there's so many like Cold War allegories everywhere. But I was actually like reading something about how like when Dune was written, it was a Cold War allegory about the U.S. and the USSR. But because it's like literally so far removed from that now. Like when the movie's coming out and people are getting into Dune, it exists as like a post Cold War allegory for like the way that we've had like this hate campaign against the Middle East for the last like 30 years,
Mhm.
where we've been like, everyone from the Middle East is stupid, dumb, and bad, and they're crazy and scary. And it's like we've been fed that constantly through media, and now Dune kind of exists as an allegory of being like it's the same story, but the story now, because of our cultural like shift, has made it so that the way we view like the conflicts in the Middle East, we're like, man, the Fremen are more central to our narratives than the Harkonnens and the Atreides.
Mhm.
Whereas I feel like at the time of its initial release, the Harkonnens and the Atreides were very much like the kind of the bigger deal. I mean, obviously the Fremen made a big impact, and it's a huge part of the story and the
Oh, yeah.
world at large. But like, yeah, the Fremen now are more important to the initial viewer because of the way that like our culture has shifted than like the Harkonnens and the Atreides, because they don't feel as much like us anymore. We don't necessarily, Americans these days don't feel as if we are like the good guy global superpower
Mhm.
kind of like Atreides. We don't feel that way.
Yeah.
We don't think that we're like Duke Leto. We see him and we're like, that guy's really cool. We wish we had a guy like that in charge. We're like, we wish we had someone who was nice as like any kind of leader.
Mhm, mhm.
Whereas at the time, I guess because of the way that we viewed media as Americans, regardless of its actual like initial interpretation and how it was designed to be written, the way that Americans picked up on it was in that fashion where it's like, yeah, we're these guys, the Russians, the scary Harkonnens are the bad guys. But now we've kind of shifted the narrative towards being like, man, yeah, it really sucks the way that like the Middle East has been subjugated.
Yeah. I'm really glad that you brought that up because I saw that going around, but I couldn't for the life of me remember what the actual core point of the conversation was because as a non-Dooner,
Not a
I'm
Dune head.
not a Dune head. I didn't quite follow it, so I'm like, I'm not gonna read this.
That's fair. Yeah, it's a neat conversation. I mean, it's just cool to see how like pieces of media that were written like published in 1965
Mhm.
has like, well, you can adapt the story one for one. If you were to like literally just republish the book and someone were to reread it, the messages and the narratives they would get are so different because of the fact that we now live 30 years 50 years beyond the publishing of Dune almost, in a world that we have become so heavily like bogged down with technology. We've become so inundated with propaganda at all angles from all parties. From everything you look at is trying to get you to believe or sell something, and so the way we view things culturally has just shifted.
Mhm.
I think Dune's cool.
I'm glad you like Dune.
Yeah, I'm a Dune head.
I know I think I might have mentioned this when we recorded last and talked about
Your
Dune.
dad was Tim Dune.
Yeah, my dad loved Dune. He read through the entire series. He was a big fan of the whole thing. And when he got to see the movie, he was absolutely thrilled with it. He said that this is the best adaptation of Dune that he has seen on screen yet, and is very excited to see if they have any more coming out. So,
There is in fact a sequel coming out this time next year.
not surprised.
Well,
Not
it's
surprised.
more of really a part two.
I was gonna say they do need to finish the book. They're only halfway through it.
Yeah, that's
So,
kind of what they did. They were just like, yeah. Which I didn't know when I went to watch it, and then I realized like my
mm,
biggest complaint was just like, man, I want more Dune now. Luckily, there's books, but I
that's
was like,
the Netflix mindset that you're trapped in right now. You're like, what? Why can't I have
Ridley Scott
a
has
whole
logged on.
season now?
The Ridley Scott enjoyer is here. Yeah, what's up with he's going off the deep end now, right? He's like, no one likes my movies because they're not 50. We're like, no one knew you made a movie, man. Calm down.
Like that's literally the only problem. It's advertising is a lot more difficult to swing if you don't just throw money at it anymore, and if you're not marketing to your like groups.
Yeah.
People aren't going out to see a Ridley Scott movie because it's Ridley Scott now. It's you got to live on something other than just your name when things are flooded. And also, not for nothing, he's not released a great slew of movies leading up to it to make people excited
I
for
mean,
his new movie.
Prometheus. You know who really likes Prometheus? Dan Giesling. Give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of,
I cannot believe that someone would get
I've
Prometheus.
heard him talk about Prometheus, and I'm like, he's memeing because
No.
Prometheus sucked.
He thinks it's a 9 out of 10 movie.
No,
You
have to be
I'm
lying. to me.
flabbergasted. No, he thinks that Prometheus is 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10 in the same way that he says like Sci-Fly's trash tier and Brim is only useful 9% of the time. Or does he actually honestly believe that stuff too?
He does.
Oh,
when he'll make like a statement that no one else agrees with and be like, but I do. And then you're like, oh, well, I guess so. I guess he really does think Prometheus is a 9 out of 10. You can, if you go to dangiesling.com/movies, there's all his movie reviews. It's a link to an IMDb page, where he does his reviews. But yeah, he gave Prometheus a 9 out of 10. But yeah, I don't know. Ridley Scott, like he's being weird. You made Alien, just like stop being weird now.
hmm.
Oh, what's is dangiesling.com/movies isn't loaded up here?
No.
This is a tragedy.
Let's try films, see if he's classy. No! Damn. Announcement. Lorem ipsum.
Oh man, Dan, the web design. What you doing?
But then it's a real announcement.
You know, my story.
Oh.
Wait, he's sponsored by. Oh, he's worked with Mountain Dew before. Incredible.
I wonder if he's tried this ginger snapped.
You know, I hope so.
I respect this list of people that he's worked with. These are all names
The
that I
NBA
generally
is kind of
have.
crazy.
Honestly, the fact that he's worked with the NBA actually does surprise me, though.
If
I like
you
Devolver. Wendy's is fine. I don't know what Team 17 is. Nvidia makes sense.
if you were to be sponsored by a fast food chain, which one would you pick?
I gotta be honest. Gut instinct is to say Taco Bell, just because I feel like I've never been unhappy with Taco Bell. There have
Mhm.
been times where I've always thought like, oh, well, I mean, that could be better. But like, I've never been disappointed. I always know what I'm getting with a Taco Bell
True.
versus like, I don't know, burger places. I'm always going to be disappointed with the fries or
Yeah.
something about it. I don't know. I'd probably go with Taco Bell. What about you, though?
Yeah, I think I might also go with Taco Bell. Maybe Sheets, actually. I know it doesn't quite
Oh,
count, but I
okay,
feel
so
like
if
getting
we-
some local representation there.
If we are going into like the gas station cuisine, which I feel like this is something that I had not thought about until Nina was telling me about it. My love of gas station food is very foreign to her. She had no idea that there were like quality gas station foods around because, it's not as common a thing where she's at. And she comes over here and I'm like, yeah, I think the best gas station subs are from here, but this place's gas station subs are also very good.
Yeah.
And this all culminated in like me and Jeff talking about like I wouldn't trust Sheets sushi, but if Get Go served sushi, I might trust it, but only if it's on the same lot as a Giant Eagle.
Mhm.
And there are like a bunch of like caveats and stuff like that. And that's where like Fantasy Wawa ended up coming in, where he's like, "Would you eat whale meat from a Sheets?" It was a whole mess.
Yes.
But I don't
I
know.
feel like there's just a lot of like
Sheets isn't a bad idea.
most of the world, most of the country, well, most of the world does have good gas station food, but most of the country doesn't really. They're like, yeah, we get like 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, I go hard on some 7-Eleven food. I will eat the buffalo chicken rollers. Like, one time I ate like 5 of them, just in a sitting. That's actually one of like, so one of Mari and I's last days in Pittsburgh. We went to the 7-Eleven that was like a block away that we used to walk to like at night.
Yeah.
And we went there and we were both under the influence of illicit narcotics, perhaps, but perhaps not. And
You were in a snacky mood.
I was in a snacky mood.
Yeah.
And we went and sat on the curb and just like kept going in and getting buffalo chicken rollers whenever they had them. We went through like 8 of them. It was
Nice.
kind of insane. They're good. But yeah, I feel like most people don't understand that like Sheetz food is just like actually just like fast food quality, if not better in some ways.
It's one of those things where I think a lot about the Sheets and the Wawa like fight.
Mhm.
And I think Wawa has more good food than Sheets. I think like across the board.
Yeah, but Sheetz has way more variety.
And that's the thing. Sheets has like fried cheese.
Way-
like 2 or 3 different types of fried
so that
cheese.
you got the fried cheese curds, you got the
Yeah.
mozzarella sticks, you got the mac and cheese bites, and then the jalapeno poppers are mostly cheddar cheese.
Yeah.
Because the Sheetz jalapeno poppers are like diced jalapenos and cheddar cheese, and I kind of like it, but it's not a
I've
jalapeno
started
popper.
That's the thing, right? Like I need a new name for those cuz they're not a jalapeno popper.
No,
but
they're like jalapeno cheese bites or something.
yeah,
Like,
I love them.
Yeah,
I
but-
think honestly, I might like that method more than the traditional popper if we're
They're a little
talking about like
spicier,
the
yeah.
deep fried versions. And I gotta I like the cheddar more. I like the cheddar a little bit more than I like the cream cheese.
Yeah, I think the way they do them is just it's good.
Yeah.
But they're not a traditional popper, and I feel like they need to stop saying they are.
No, they really definitely need to. I'll enjoy them. I'll keep ordering them, but
Yeah, you got to get them in your app.
stop
sample.
lying to me.
Yeah, I feel like Wawa has higher quality food, but
Mhm.
Sheetz has way more variety of food.
Sheetz is what I expect from high-end gas station. Wawa is like, well, you're just a corner store with a gas station.
Mm-hmm. I can get that. I agree. Circle K though.
Circle K scares the shit out of me. I see like
where I got
burritos
these.
sitting in the warmer,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, "Who? I don't trust that at all."
And not just like one burrito, like 10.
Yeah,
You're
it's
like,
like, why do you need that
Like,
many?
are you selling that many?
I've only bought food from a Circle K once, and it was when Nina and I were driving, and we needed to eat something, and I
Mhm.
wanted something hot. Nina opted for like normal food, and I did get a Circle K burrito. And it didn't treat me great.
Yep.
It wasn't the worst. I wasn't like laid up in the bathroom all day, but like
Could have been better.
I could have been. It didn't taste good. You know,
Yep.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like those things are like so much tortilla. Like your tortilla to filling ratio shouldn't be above 30%.
Oh yeah, it's just a
But
lot
this
of
is like
tortilla, and it's like
50% tortilla, and then you have like a paste in the middle that sometimes has like bean lumps in it.
it's like pseudo baked. Like it's not
Yeah,
like because
it's-
it's been in the warmer so long that the tortilla is like crunchy in a bad way.
Yeah. It's
I-
just dried out.
Yeah.
It's not crispy because it got cooked. It's crispy because it dried out.
And there are good, gas station like roller type foods.
Mhm.
I know the Loves, like the travel stop. They've
love-
got
I am a Loves enjoyer.
the Loves Appreciator.
Mhm.
There are they have these like jalapeno cheddar corn dogs that they've got. They're pretty good. Not like amazing.
Yeah.
They're always a little dry, but they're pretty good.
I feel like new food like quality type rules have definitely helped roller food advance in new ways. Because I remember hearing so many stories about, oh, I mean, you've heard, right? Like they're rot dogs, they're rotten food, blah 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 blah. They're actually this, that, the other thing. It's like, okay, but like
They're not.
that can't be true.
Yeah, like I do
Because-
love when people try and like say that. They're like, that like eat a hot dog, it's like 90% rotten like cow head. No, it's not. It's just like not the best part of meat that's like super processed, so it tastes better and like is more palatable.
Mhm.
Like don't be like meat.
Do you
don't
eat
be weird.
bologna? Because it's the same
Yeah,
thing.
they don't put the whole cow's head in, skull and all, and just grind it. Like that wouldn't work because you get bone chips everywhere and fur. Like they still skin things. They still like
It's still a process.
yeah. You're not just eating like cow skull chips and fur. Stop being weird. And you like when people are like, Taco Bell's meat is actually like functionally dog food. No, it's
Okay.
not. It's just not though. Like that's just not true.
Mhm.
Because like you think
remember
that
hearing
every
so many
Taco Bell in the
people-
country and their entire food processing has never once been USDA inspected or checked on, and like
yeah, so many people try to tell me that Taco Bell meat was grade F meat, and I'm like,
that's not a thing.
and I just like I can't. There's it. It just harkens back to the simpler times of the internet where people would tell you, "Hey, did you know this?" And it would be like, "Wow, that's true," and I believe you entirely. You know, like so many things like that. I never used to actually second guess.
Well, I mean, everyone
Almost
knows
anything I
Marilyn
heard.
Manson did have his ribs removed, so he could suck his own dick.
Exactly,
That's the Nancy Reagan.
man. I'm so sick of hearing about Nancy Reagan.
It's been like a day.
It's been like a day, but it's been so much. It's just been so much. And it's the worst part, right? Is I got these people who are like, "Yeah, go Nancy, get it." And then their first comment is them being like, "Guys, I know she was a terrible person. This
This-
was a joke." And then there's the other side, which are still all the left people who are just like, I can't imagine that she gave good head because you have to have some empathy to actually be. And I'm like, shut up.
Yeah, like
I can't imagine it was a dry, crusty, no any fun. It's like, shut up.
quit being
dude.
weird. Just let the joke hang.
blowjob technology wasn't advanced. Shut up. Just like everyone is
Talking about blowjob
so many
technology, like we're
people
going to a
out
sex
here.
doll brothel.
They're just like insensitive, or not insensitive. They're like overly sensitive about the fact that someone they don't like was famous for giving BJs,
Yeah.
to the point where they're like, well, it had to be bad. Not like me, who's great.
Yeah, I'm way better than Nancy Reagan. Like, why? It's not a competition, first of all. Ron's not going to rate you.
Yeah.
He's not hearing.
Isn't Nancy dead?
I think they're both dead, yeah.
I know Ron's been dead for a hot minute, but Nancy's one of those people where I feel like she could still be
I
alive.
thought we're on like a first name basis.
I mean, what are they going to do?
Probably like destroy the economy and future generations' view of like political figures.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably.
But I mean, they already did that. They're not going to do it again.
Don't say that. They will.
This just in, Ronald Reagan back from the dead. Just being a piece of shit, but everyone still loves it.
See, I just feel like Nancy Reagan could be one of those people that I would think died like 10 years ago, and then I'd see a news article about how they're still alive. Like, I thought Idris Elba died.
Why?
And I don't know.
I
And
don't
then
think he was, like,
everyone's
hurt.
like, well, that's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, you got Idris Elba confused with Chadwick Boseman. No, I didn't. I didn't confuse the two of them.
I just thought he was dead.
Maybe his dad died, but I have such a strong memory of hearing that Idris Elba died.
I have never
and then
heard that Idris Elba died.
That's the thing. The next thing I heard about Idris Elba, after I thought he died, it was like a year plus of silence about this man. And then it was Idris Elba should be the next guy to play James Bond. And then Idris Elba is
because he's back from the dead.
And I'm like, what the fuck? This is terrible.
Idris Elba is James Bond and back from the dead to be Knuckles.
Do you have any opinions on James Bond?
No.
All right, then let me,
incredibly neutral.
Let me bounce this off you.
Okay.
Both Tom Holland and The Rock have apparently mentioned they would be interested in playing James Bond.
That sounds stupid. I don't like either of them.
I figured you would say that. Now, I got a couple of issues.
They should make it me.
They should. Honestly, here's the thing, though.
I'd be cool, though. Like, I wouldn't be, like, weird about it, you know?
That's why it would actually be better, because James Bond has always been a generally, like,
no-name,
neutral
right?
to no-name type of person. Like, Pierce Brosnan was famous. I'm not going to pretend Pierce Brosnan wasn't famous.
Yeah, but, like, not the people who were cool. Like, name one person with swag who knows what Pierce Brosnan was in besides James Bond. Like, go find, like,
he was in
the members of LMFAO and ask them what Pierce Brosnan was in besides James Bond, and they won't know because they're cool.
I wonder what they're up to now.
Oh, probably just being like, all right, fellas, hopefully. I really hope like people aren't like mad at us because they did something real bad, but like
I'm gonna look it up. Jamie, get it on the screen for us, please.
Jamie, can you run this by LMFAO members? We should see if maybe they'll be on the podcast.
I feel like they're both so far out of our reach. Hey, no controversy section, unlike Iron Brew.
You love when you open up a Wikipedia page and there is no controversy section. I really love that his shirt in the image on Wikipedia says, "I'm in Miami, bitch," while they're performing in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah, no, that's really good, honestly.
But I feel like Miami is more of a state of mind.
You're right.
What are their names? Actual names. Not Red Foo. Let's
see.
You had the Wikipedia open.
I don't think the members are here, are they?
There's gotta be like history.
Early years and party rock.
Early years.
Let's see.
Steve.
No, they're using their acting names.
They're like really in there. Red Foo and Sky Blue. They're really really hidden. You think they've got like secret identities?
Honestly, I hope they do.
You think they're like
I hope no one in their real life knows who they are.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
You know, that's how the band Ghost did for a little while.
I don't know that band.
Oh. Well, they're a band from Sweden.
That's probably why I don't know him. I don't know Swedish.
Well, I mean, they sing in English.
Oh,
Yeah, you may recognize them
nope.
as the Skeleton Pope Man and his faceless goons.
Yeah, everyone knows that I'm a big fan of the Skeleton Pope Man and know who that is.
Well, anyway, the band operates as it's just Tobias Forge. He's the Skeleton Pope who has been the lead on every one of their albums. Each album they fire him and get a new guy in. But it's always him. But they like for some
What do you
sort
mean?
there's like
They fire
lore.
him and then hire him back?
Well, here's the thing. Each album has lore, and the
Oh man,
lore
that sucks.
swaps out Papa Emeritus the first, second, and third, and Cardinal Copia, and I think we're on Papa the fourth at this point. But anyway,
Papa John.
like the lore for like this era where they're all in their like little suit jackets is that Emeritus the third got too caught up with the rock and roll lifestyle and got summoned back to the Satan Vatican by Emeritus Zero, the oldest one. And,
Is it
and
like
then he was replaced by the Cardinal. And then the Cardinal ran for a little while.
the Cardinal looks like Carl Havoc.
Yeah, he does. You should see him sing because it's just a mask. And it doesn't move very well. But yeah, and as the albums come out, there's new lore explaining away why each thing happens, but the backing band is constantly rotating. The only reason we know who Tobias is because some member of the backing band sued him very publicly.
Nice.
Trying to get
Wait,
like
his actual name is
writing
Tobias
credits.
Forge,
Yeah.
and he doesn't go by that.
No,
You
he
have a
goes
cool
by
ass
Papa
name.
Emeritus.
That's like being like that one guy Wolf Blitzer and not going by that name. Like you got a cool name. Don't be weird about it.
I mean, maybe it's not his real name, but you never know.
Ghost Band Scooby Doo.
I was really
What's new,
hoping that they did
Scooby-Doo?
something real with Scooby-Doo,
Oh, I
but it
hope.
doesn't look like they did.
You ever like just get really mind flooded by lore? Because that's what this is. When you're talking like Pope Emeritus the Zero bringing
Yeah.
out, I was like, man, like this is like my brain's short circuited, and I just Papa, not Pope.
Yeah, yeah.
I really feel like it'd be funny if they fired him and then hired
Here's
him
Papa
again.
Zero. He pops up to play a saxophone solo every now and then in some of their songs.
So like, hear me out. What if he got fired again for like being too evil or something and going?
Oh, so it's Papa Nile.
Anyway, but like, what if he got like fired, right? And
Yeah.
then he was like hired back, but this time it was just actually Eminem,
I would
and they were like they pretended it wasn't. They
I
were
would hate
like-
that so much.
They were like, yeah, no, it's just this is Papa Emeritus the Eighth, and it's just Eminem.
Yeah, no, I would hate that so
That'd be
much.
really funny. I feel like if
because
you
like ghost lore is really stupid, but I like in a fun way.
you think
in
it wouldn't
my
be fun if
opinion-
Eminem was there?
Nah, it
That's
would
no,
be,
it wouldn't
but
be.
but here's the problem, right? All the metalheads would make such a big deal out of it. I would never be able to enjoy the band again.
You know what I kind of hate about metalheads?
Hmm.
Like, so the other day I was playing some Minecraft.
Yeah.
And I was playing with a friend of mine and like some of his friends that I had never met before. And they were talking about something or other. And then I was like, oh yeah, you hate to see it when like someone you like gets outed for doing some like crazy shit. Oh, we were specifically talking about like DaBaby, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like my take of like I'm not surprised DaBaby is homophobic because I never thought of him as like a moral paragon or someone with like
No, he's
similar
just-
values to
he
me.
just
I was like, he
smiles a
makes
lot.
fun music and goes, "Let's go," and I was like, yeah. That's DaBaby. So people were
Yeah.
like, I can't believe. I'm like, oh, I mean, I'm not happy about it, but I can believe it, I suppose.
Yeah.
I didn't know enough about his personality to be like, there's no way he would not be homophobic. I didn't know him.
Not my friend DaBaby.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Sure, I guess. But yeah, I said that, and this guy was like, yeah, it's like one of my favorite bands. Like, was like saying like a whole bunch of like really racist stuff. Like using all sorts of slurs and like the N word and stuff. And I was like, oh, that sucks. I was like, yeah, but it doesn't like people don't know that like it doesn't matter. Like it's not like you don't know them. I was like,
Oh no.
No, I'm saying I'm not saying I still love listening to these people. I'm just saying I'm not surprised. I'm not saying I support it. He was like, but I still love them, and I was like, it's a little weird. Like you just said that they were like actively using specifically the N word and a whole bunch of like anti-Asian slurs, and I was like,
Yikes.
all directed towards women.
Yeah, well, of course.
Like specifically like targeting women of color, and I was like, dude. I'm not agreeing with you. You understand that I do not agree with that at all. Like you understand that what I said was like, I'm not surprised DaBaby said something homophobic because I don't know him or hold his values to a standard.
Yeah.
You're saying this band I like and know about is very racist, but only behind the scenes, and that's okay with me. We're not saying the same thing. Stop saying we're saying the same thing. I don't agree with you. That take sucks.
No, it's very much a different thing.
I was like, no, I'm just saying, I didn't know him. Sure, I guess he could have bad opinions.
It's like the massive cope from Pantera fans when Phil Anselmo did the Zig Heil at a show and then screamed white power. And he released this big video where he's like, I'm really sorry. When the official statement was white power was the white wine that he drinks before the show and it gives his voice the power to like so many jokes were birthed from this. Because it was the stupidest apology. And then he put out this apology where he sat on his back porch and filmed this thing. You could hear crickets in the background.
No,
he's
I drink
just like
white
down
wine
his
and it gives me power.
And he's just like, I'm really sorry. I never meant any of this to be taken any sort of way. I don't hate black people at all. I think honestly, I'm one of the least racist people. But yeah, I'm really sorry about that. It'll never happen again. I'm Philip H. Anselmo. You have a good night. And that's like...
I mean, to be fair, he drinks white wine before the show and it gives him power.
It does.
That's what he meant. That's what he clearly meant.
Well, and here's the
Wait,
worst
did they
part,
actually try and claim that, though? Because that's hilarious.
They literally did try and
That's
claim that. There
such
were
a
people
good-
trying to, like... There were people looking at behind-the-scenes, like, pictures, and they're like, is that white wine or is that vodka? We can't tell. And if it's vodka, that means that he was lying, and that's a problem. And it's like... It doesn't matter if he's lying. It's still a problem.
Said, like, if he is lying, that's the worst lie. It's also a very hilarious lie.
It's such a good...
It's so stupid to be like, no, man, I only said
gosh.
white power on stage and did the Zig Heil because white wine gives me strength. What?
And here's the thing, because it's their song, A New Level, and there's like a line in it where he's like, a new level, a new power, and then he has, for years... then screamed white power.
Why has he been saying that? Why?
Well, here's the thing.
Oh, because he's racist, probably.
Yeah,
huh? Yeah,
exactly.
No, I'm like, why would he do that? Oh, wait, because
people
he's
never
racist.
thought about it until someone uploaded it, and this video got like a lot of traction.
Never thought about the fact that he just screamed white power.
No, yeah.
They were like, this is normal. This
is
like
it's like, oh, this is just old Philly. No,
he just says that because he likes white wine.
So it ended up getting huge traction, and a bunch of different bands who were playing, because it was Dime Fest, honoring Dimebag Darrell, Pantera's old guitarist. And the lead for Machine Head, he came up and he's like, Phil was saying some really racist shit behind the scenes, and that's why Machine Head's never going to play with any of Phil's bands again. Peace. And
what if he ended it by saying white power? But that's because white wine gave him power too, and he meant it like that.
Honestly, like he should have.
You think he should have said white power?
For the power of the diapers to keep the shit out of his pants.
You think he should have said white power?
No, I don't. But the diaper thing is because he had he posted a picture of himself in an adult diaper once because he's like, yeah, I got massive shits. Let's go do a show. And it was a really weird thing to do.
I would just like wear like sweatpants over it, like baggy ones so people wouldn't know.
No, he talked about it. Probably trying to get ahead of it, but it didn't work.
That's weird.
Yeah. He also, I might have mentioned this before. He made fun of fans of the band Children of Bodom because Bodom and Machine Head were touring together.
Bodom like the coffee supply manufacturer. They make like
I don't know.
My coffee siphon is from Bodom. So is my French press.
Yeah, this is I don't know. This is just this is just another band I know.
They're just like that's their dad.
But
their dad's like the guy who makes the French presses.
Sure.
That's probably true.
Alexi Leho, their lead singer and lead guitarist, posted, yeah, really bummed out. Machine Head had to cancel the tour. Sorry about that. We're going to try and refund tickets. Really sucks. we're gonna try and make this work. And he didn't specifically mention, I don't even remember the dude's name anymore. But this guy gets on Facebook and he's like, oh, so because they're called the Hate Crew, the Bodum fans, they're the Hate Crew.
Why?
Because of the song or album Hate Crew Death Roll.
So they're like, yeah, we're named after the song.
I don't know, dude. They're just called the Hate Crew. It's like,
I would be like the
Hate
Bodum,
Crew,
the Bodum boys.
more like the bought a
Bodum.
ticket too late crew. More like the sorry you're a virgin and can't get a date crew.
What if it was like the Bodum buddies?
Bodum buddies. Yeah, Bodum buddies could work.
The grandchildren of Bodum.
Grandchildren of Bodum.
They'd be like, you know.
They're just down the line.
Yeah. Their grandpa's the guy who makes the French press. French press is.
I hate this. I hate this so much.
Yeah, you know, to each their own. I think it's the best option. The Bodum buddies is pretty good.
Anyway.
Bodum bubs.
The only point of me saying this was like after he had his juvenile calling Bodum fans virgins for being mad moment, he was like, Phil Anselmo is not a good person and I will no longer be associating with him. And it's like, dude, you're not a good person either.
Yeah.
You're just a bad person in a different way.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the things about like metal fans is every once in a while you'll be talking to a friend of yours that likes metal, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, "Yeah, we're white nationalists, right?" And you're like, "What? What? Why? Why couldn't you just be like? Why couldn't you just listen to angry music and be normal about it? Like, it's not. You're gonna be weird. Like, you go like the metal bands that aren't saying white power all the time. Stop. Ah.
Honestly, that's a big reason that I've been like switching over to punk music instead of metal as often, because I've found outside of the obvious like Nazi punk bands, in general, it is a very anti-fascist space, which has been actually kind of nice.
You know what I think is a funny era of punk music? Like the suit and tie, mid 2000s Fall Out Boy type, from under the cork tree time, where like, you know, is like Say Anything, where there was like white polo or like white dress shirt and like a tie, but like a little bit edgy, like that Green Day era, you know, where it was like
the pop punk movement for the most part.
Yeah, but like I feel like,
but then there were a bunch of like other like regular punk bands who are like, yeah, we'll wear a button up and a tie.
Yeah,
and then they just tied a really sloppy tie,
and that was like the thing.
Had heavy eyeliner, and they went up and they punched people in the face and had a show.
Yeah, and that was like the thing. You were like, yeah, we're like, you know, we wear the same clothes that like your dad wants you to date the guy that wears these clothes, and we do, but we're like not the same about it. And you're like, okay. I mean, I kind of like, I don't hate it, but I'm just like, it's a weird time, and I feel like it's just gone now. Like it doesn't happen anymore.
It's not as popular.
Everyone's kind of
now.
moved on to like flannels. Like it's not pop
grunge.
punk. It's not pop punk, man. It's Midwest emo. Don't pretend like there's a difference. If you think, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to me. Just it's pop punk, man. It's fine. Just don't be weird.
Nah, I think there's a difference between pop punk and Midwest emo.
What?
Midwest emo is emo music and pop punk is not. Emo kids listen to pop punk.
I feel like, well, actually, maybe I don't. I feel like I'm also very far disconnected from pop punk. Whereas like there's a time when I wasn't, but I feel like a lot of like what was pop punk like 5-6 years ago is now just like still the same, but they're like now it's Midwest emo.
Yeah, I haven't heard anyone call any old pop punk bands Midwest emo. I'm not sure what circles we're traveling in here.
That's very possible, yeah. But I also think that there was just a lot of bands that were called pop punk that honestly kind of weren't.
That's a biggie too.
Like
it was a good catch-all genre. It's kind of like how indie was like a genre for a while, even though that's not a descriptor and it's a bad like across the board.
Decemberists.
It's
and
like
Modest Mouse.
You know what it means, but it's like, what does it mean? And a bunch of bands who were labeled that also could have been pop punk. Blah 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 blah.
What are your thoughts on Alanis Morissette?
Not
she's not pop punk at all. But do you like? What are your thoughts on her?
All I can think of is that Letterkenny bit, Alanis Morissette.
I don't know that one.
Well, now I feel weird, but
do you like Alanis Morissette? Do you dislike Alanis Morissette?
I don't know anything about her.
You don't know anything about Alanis Morissette?
I don't know any of her music or anything.
I'm here to remind
yeah, no, I like that song. That song slaps.
It's like rain on your wedding.
I don't like that one at all.
Okay. Ooh. Do
No.
I stress you out? And my sweater's on backwards and inside out.
That one's fine.
Hey, hey,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, like that. I like Alanis Morissette. She's got like a weird, like, I kind of like that, like, what was like a 90s indie voice for like women. That, like, now, if I said like women musicians in indie, obviously it's super varied. But
Mhm.
like, if I'm saying it, you're thinking like the like Phoebe Bridgers type,
Yeah.
you know, like the like that kind.
I feel like the 90s voice, that I feel like a lot of that transferred into like types of country.
Yeah, I feel like it did. I mean, I feel like that 90s voice transition to country is made no more apparent than literally just Darius Rucker.
Yeah.
From Hootie and the Blowfish to country music, same guy. Not the same sound, different sound,
But
but similar sound as him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
feel like that transition definitely went countryside. Because now you get
So-
like Phoebe Bridgers and like for whatever reason, like Olivia Rodrigo is like indie, even though like I think she has like the highest selling album of the year.
Yeah,
like
all her songs feel like pop punk to me.
Yeah, well, I feel like maybe not necessarily punk, but like definitely pop.
Well, in like
maybe
the,
like a
in
little
the Paramore
in like
angle
the-
of pop
yeah.
punk.
Speaking
that's
of
pop punk,
Paramore,
too.
what are your thoughts on like that controversy? We were church lads.
Oh my gosh. Do you remember it being brought up in the green room once? No, you wouldn't have been there because we both played the same instrument, so we would never be in there together.
True, yeah, we were actually
No.
never in there, which is weird because I feel like we both have plenty of experiences in that green room,
And
but none of them
so many
shared.
of them, I mean, when you have flat earth and numerology having a conversation,
Okay,
there's so many overlaps.
numerology guy was crazy because he just drink like 2 liters of diet tonic water
Yeah.
and then just be like, the other day I saw the number 14 on the bus. I'm like, he's like, this is an angel number. I'm like, why are you doing this to me? You're scaring the host.
I just love the fact that flat earth and numerology would to each other be like, man, that's a little far out there. But did you know that the government actually is keeping angels in Area 51? It's not actually where you think Area 51 is. And it's like, bro, that's so far out there. Anyway, the number 72 appears 3,000 times in my spreadsheet, and that means a lot.
It's insane. But like, it was, oh man.
But yeah,
But
the drummer, big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to say his name, but you know who I mean.
Starts with a,
Yeah.
yeah, I liked him.
Yeah.
He's nice.
Mhm.
I saw him like a couple months ago, actually.
Yeah. He looks great, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
he does. He works at the school I go to.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah,
like, he does,
I
like,
think he's
maintenance and
lost like 80 pounds
Yeah,
and
he looks
like,
really
packed
good.
on a bunch of
Yeah,
muscle.
we chatted for a few minutes. I just like saw him walking
He's
by. I
got
was
a
like, hey.
kid.
Yeah,
I don't know,
he's cool.
I'm thrilled for him.
But anyway, go tell
But
the story
anyway,
where you're gonna
yeah.
slander him.
No, so he comes back and he's like, he's having a whole moment talking about how, did she accidentally post a topless photo to Twitter, or what happened? Is that the controversy you're talking about?
No, I was just talking about the fact that like there was like a controversy with people being like, yeah, like they're Christians in a band, but it's not a Christian band.
Oh, yeah,
Like that,
no.
But
I'm
like,
talking about the
No,
accidental nude posting.
I don't really remember that actually.
Yeah, no, he was talking about it, and he's like, well, I mean, I haven't seen it. I didn't look it up or anything. But like, I don't know. I just don't know how you could be a Christian, but still have that on your phone and then accidentally post it. Like, maybe if she was sending it to her husband.
So true.
But I don't think she's married.
How could she do that?
How could she, honestly? No, I don't remember that controversy. I remember hearing that with Flyleaf a lot.
Yeah, it wasn't like necessarily a controversy. It was just like, you know how there was always like the kids at the church who were like, I don't listen to worldly music.
Yeah.
I would never. It's a sin.
Yeah.
But then they'd be like, well, yeah, that Paramore, they may all be religious, and they may not say bad words or talk about.
But they're not Christian enough in their music for me.
Sex. They're like, but they don't actively praise God in their music, so I don't like them. Yeah. Same with like Flyleaf. There was like a big controversy.
I remember they were like, how can you justify playing in Las Vegas with Korn if you're a Christian band? It's like,
Sorry.
yeah,
It's just fun. That's a fun impression.
yeah. It was really funny because I listened to an interview where they were like asked that question, and they just like talked about like, well, I mean, you know, we're just kind of out here where people actually are gonna pay us to be. And like,
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
like
a more
she was like,
nuanced answer than that. And then they started playing Smells Like Teen Spirit.
yeah. I just, yeah, I feel like that was a big deal back in the day when people were like, yeah, they may be like Christians in a band, but it's not a Christian band.
It's
And
such
you'd be
a
like, what a weird like hill to die on.
it was such a weird era. I'm really glad that that is well, you know, maybe that hasn't actually stopped. Maybe I'm just out of those circles now, but man, if it has stopped, I'm so glad it stopped. It was such a
I feel like
dumb
it's definitely
thing.
one of those things where like I genuinely like music that's like not religious, but like not like I don't have a problem with music that's not like full of the like I'm a swearing guy, but like the music I listen to actually isn't really at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I mean the 40% of my Spotify Wrapped, literally 40% of the time I listen to music was just the Mountain Goats.
hmm Only
Which
40%, huh?
yeah, which is out of 19,000 minutes. I know it's not that much, but and that's
I'm sorry
but
that
the
you
Mountain
weren't in
Goats
the
is one of
top
those bands that's like
0.001% of Mountain Goats
true.
fans this year.
But the Mountain Goats is one of those bands that's like Christians in a band. Like it's like
Really?
it's not a religious band. I mean, but like it kind of makes sense because no one
It
else
actually does a
would
lot,
talk
yeah.
that much about like biblical lore. I think John Darnielle might because he just is like weird.
I was gonna say he just strikes me as that kind of guy.
He's like really into like reading about weird parts of history and then like making albums about them.
A whole album that's just him and his boombox recording directly to the left side of a cassette tape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's only like 12 of those at least. But yeah, I feel like that's definitely one of those situations where it's like Christians in a band, but also if you were to play it into the church, people would be like, "This is evil music,"
Yeah.
because they are like critical of the way that like religion plays a negative role in some people's lives. Like, or maybe you could say that makes them perhaps good Christians for analyzing the fact that people ostracizing others and pushing them away is actually just toxic and negative behavior, regardless of why you do it.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Man.
Because like I feel like if you were to like show like a Christian the best ever death metal band out of Denton and be like, this is a song by like a Christian man, they'd be like, no, there's no way.
Mhm.
It's not possible because they said that death metal kids shouldn't be put in homes and and they said that kids that like hard rock shouldn't go to jail. Yeah, no, they didn't.
Damn, it's a controversy hill to die on, but you know what? I respect his willingness to die on that one.
Yeah, I mean it's a hard take.
Such a hard take.
But yeah, that is one of those like things that like doesn't really come up often. But technically, they're a Christian band by Paramore standards, which was definitely an argument I had to make as a youth.
When listening to them?
Yeah, when listening to music in general. Like, no, mom, it's not. It's secular music. It's Skillet.
Skillet was even overtly
Oh,
a
they
Christian
were.
band.
That's the thing.
Oh, that's rough.
No, yeah, no.
I think I told you that I got to see them.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was a better show than I thought it would be, but I have no desire to ever watch Skillet play again.
I mean, sometimes like they got some performers out there in the church. I mean, you got like the Newsboys where the drummer just gets like they got like the crane arm and they just flip him around a whole bunch.
Yeah, it's
And he just
like
keeps
let's put this
drumming?
man in the blender.
Yeah, I'm like, that's kind of cool. I mean, that would
Slipknot
suck.
stole that bit.
Really?
They did.
Not the other way around.
Yeah, no, Newsboys
Man.
definitely did it first.
They were like that was like a
because
big
they were
thing
doing it
did.
in the '90s, and
Yeah, they had like a crane just like swinging that guy. Poor
yeah,
guy.
because I want to say Slipknot came to be in like '99.
How many extra drumsticks do you think that guy had to have like taped under his seat?
Dozens.
I mean, he probably had like because I mean the thing is
You
you
know,
let
I-
go for a second, it doesn't fall down. You don't just pick it up and keep going.
I
It
would,
falls up.
you know, I would guess that he probably only had like one or two, but then as soon as his thing landed again, a roadie came up and put a bucket of sticks.
Or you know
back
what he
down.
probably had?
Hmm.
I think he had like Wiimote wrist straps.
Yo,
He probably had like a hole drilled through the drumstick and like had maybe like a little clip so he could switch them out if like one broke.
Unironically, that's
I feel like
that
I'm in,
could be
if that wasn't the tech they used, they should have done like a little like 64-inch drill bit, run like a little thread through it, get a little wrist strap tie like the Wii remote, and then yeah, have it like attached to a clip. That way he could just take it on and off if the stick broke, so it wasn't a long process.
It's a possibility.
And have a couple extra sticks just in case one broke when he was up there.
All right, so I have one thing I want to talk about before we cut, and we're not even going to get through the whole thing, but this is some information that like
Half a thing.
I think you specifically will be a little interested in.
Okay.
So you know the band Mushroomhead?
Yeah, I'm gonna go see him at the Cove this weekend.
Really?
No, but I had a regular at the bar I used to work at who would say that every night when it would be like 9 o'clock and we'd be closing up or whatever, and because on Sundays we close at like 9 on weekdays,
Mhm.
and he'd be like, "Yeah, I should probably get going. Got to see Mushroom Head down at the Cove."
It's a really weird thing to say, but
Yeah, and he was just like, "Yeah, no, like, because like I would ask him about it. He's like, "Yeah, I just heard about this band called like Mushroom Head, and I thought it was funny." It's like, and I went and saw him one time. He was like 70.
Mhm.
He saw Mushroom Head like 5 years ago. Uh,
Nice.
maybe a little longer ago than that. But he was like, "Yeah," and I saw him, and like the Cove's a venue I used to work at, so I just tell people that whenever I have to leave. That or he'll always be like, "Well, I gotta head out. I got a big race tomorrow, like a marathon."
What a guy.
He was so cool, actually. I liked him.
I like him too.
Gonna see Mushroom Head down at the Cove was one of my favorite lines. But yeah, I'm familiar with the band Mushroom Head.
Okay, so there's a lot of drama between Mushroom Head and Slipknot, because they're both mask bands, and they both have too many members, and they're very similar things going on, right?
I would like to see beef between Slipknot and Chicago because they are also both bands that have too many members.
That would be kind of funny.
It'd be very funny. They'd be like, we're mad at each other, even though we're like so different.
There's not even more than probably 100 fan overlap.
Oh yeah, but they're like beefing. Okay,
but yeah. So now this is some deep lore beef that like I'm not picking sides on here because both sides are probably lying.
You think Slipknot ever played at the Cove?
Probably not.
I'm a team Mushroom Head then.
But here's what happened with Mushroom Head. They were approached by Roadrunner Records, and they're like, "Hey, we want to sign you."
And they're like, meat.
Stop. But they came up to them and they wanted to sign them, and the deal that they were going to be given was actually not better than what Mushroom Head already had going, being an independent artist. Like, they were doing really well with merch sales and with album sales. Like, in their area, they were hugely popular.
Mm-hmm.
And then, just a few years after they got approached, Slipknot appeared. And Slipknot didn't used to have Corey Taylor singing for them. They had somebody else. They have a whole demo album with this other guy.
CMFT.
Yeah. That was their album without him, ironically enough.
Wow.
But yeah, and then out of nowhere, they get signed, and then Corey Taylor gets added into the mix, and masks become an important part of the band's visual identity.
This is a lot about our society.
And well, here's the thing. The guy from Mushroom Head is sure that Corey Taylor was this like industry ringer that they brought in as the front man for this band. Here's the thing about Corey Taylor.
He sucks.
I don't want to say
he must be stopped.
I don't want to say that this is true,
I think
but like the timeline of Corey's life is very hard to follow.
I've never tried.
And I have this issue with like a lot of people who tell me like, oh yeah, this happened. But like Corey Taylor was like homeless for a long time, apparently. Like, and there's a lot of stories that just talk about him being like a down home Iowa Des Moines boy. And like, just a bunch of stuff that I have issues like putting the timeline together in my mind. But I love the idea that the record label's like, that's the man. Like, they just knew that he was good at what he did. And they brought him in and they're like, let's make a Mushroom Head clone. And they tried to get them bigger than Mushroom Head, but Mushroom Head had already had so much fame, they just kind of rose together for a while.
I feel like Slipknot was at its peak bigger than Mushroom Head, though.
Oh, by a lot. By a lot.
By like, because they were a household name. Everyone had the shirt,
Exactly.
Every shitty kid at high school had the shirt.
Right? Like, Knotfest exists. There's no Mushroom Head equivalent to that outside
every
of their
Godsmack
Halloween
listening loser in your high school had a Slipknot shirt and talked about them.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, like, if that theory is true, then it worked out. But I don't know. I just think that that's really interesting that
kind of makes sense.
By most accounts that you can find, it's pretty likely that Slipknot is an industry plant style band.
Yeah. Meant to mimic Mushroom Head, who played at the Cove.
Yeah. Down at the Cove.
So I'm going tonight. We got to go see him at the Cove.
I'm glad you're going to see him at the Cove.
Yeah.
Tonight.
That was like, it wasn't like none of my coworkers, because he said it like every time he was there.
Mm-hmm.
All of my coworkers were like, oh my God, it's like a good one. I was like, Yeah.
This is unironically
I
very
like
funny.
everyone else was like this, like he says this every time, stop. I was like, he says this every time, yeah. No one else liked the idea of seeing Mushroom Head at the Cove, but it literally, like, even when he wouldn't say it, he'd be like, "Oh, you got a big race tomorrow? You gonna see Mushroom Head at the Cove?" That's why. I was his favorite because I thought it was I thought it was genuinely funny.
Yeah, you just got to play into it just a little bit
I mean,
every
he was
now and
also
then.
like in his 70s, but like really nice and like very like socially conscious.
Well, honestly, why not just be nice to people who are nice?
Yeah,
I feel like you just should.
yeah, he was like an older guy, but like he was just like a
He's
kind
just a
fellow.
dude.
Whereas like when I worked in the bar, like the main reason I don't want to go back is because like so many people who were going there just like straight up had like a problem or were just like bad people.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
this isn't fun. But like, there's a couple of gems. That guy was a gem.
Nice.
Good fella. He detailed cars in his spare time. Smoked a lot of really low quality weed.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah, no, I could definitely tell because he would come in just like smelling like just like dirt, and I was like, oh, all right, Tom. You know,
Straight ass.
any port in a storm. Yeah, no, he would. It was just really funny, but he was nice. He was a good fella.
Good fella.
I think that's probably a good point to wrap.
Yeah, let's just wrap it.
Don't get the Mountain Dew gingerbread.
Yeah.
Or do. I don't know. I don't mind it.
It's up to you.